Now, second map that has been chosen here is Infernal Shrines. So both teams not going for crazy experiments like Soa did in the last series against CE, going to Towers of Doom. They just want to play it standard.
Yeah, even though we have both the StarCraft maps available, once again, you can see SPT, very solid win rate. Not perfect this time, but RPG, again, very low win rate, unfortunately.
Yeah, and
this is not their Tomb of the Spider Queen.
No. I think, yeah, you brought up a very good point. Tomb of the Spider Queen would have been so nice. I don't even understand why they didn't go for map choice. Once again, maybe they have something up their sleeves, though, going for the first pick. Maybe they're going to snatch something away, like the Anub'arak, like the Oriel, if it doesn't get banned.
There's always the logic that they're either that after that first loss, they're so confident that no matter what map they're going to be on, they're going to be in an unfavorable position, so they might as well take what advantage they can get in the form of the first pick. This is an argument that a lot of teams use.
Actually, very true. And I can't really blame them. And it's not like, you know, when a team like RPG has a fairly poor record on Infernal Shrines, it's not like they don't know how to play the map. It's just that they might feel more comfortable. No. Don't play with my heart here. RPG, no.
It's a solid hero, but not on this Diablo map.
Wrong Protoss. Okay.
That's protest.
The Wang needs a new monitor. I can't tell the Protoss apart.
This monitor is faulty. It's not displaying the lyrics.
All right.
I like that he is the Wang. That is.
Yeah.
That is such a British rock star name. Hello, I'm Wang. I'm the Wang, and this is RPG 1, 2, 3.
Jesus.
It's great.
Right.
we have absolutely just given them personality that they did not have and never will, because
hopefully they're never going to watch our VODs. They will hate us.
They love it.
And when Blizzard finally decided to fly us over to China to cast it, all the players are going to step up and be like, no, we don't want those two here.
I'm sorry. You said what during your last broadcast? I'm sorry. Please forgive me, the Wang. The Wang does not forgive.
You're getting us, you're getting us even deeper in trouble now.
I know. SPT consistently banning out Genji the last couple games they've played, actually.
Yeah, very true. Genji was open. You are totally right. We didn't even talk about it because Melody C is one of the most lethal Genjis out there, yet he did not go for him. Let's see what they're going to pick up now, Infernal Shrines. By the way, can you remember the last time we have seen a Kerrigan on Infernal Shrines? Because sometimes, you know, it still used to be a niche thing to do every now and then, but I think by now it's completely forgotten.
In Europe, recently, it got played. In China, I'm not entirely sure. There's something in my head. I'm remembering a Kerrigan. I just can't remember where and when. I'm going to try and check now.
Pretty interesting to see that SPT still goes for the Vala Uther, despite the fact that Oriel had been, you know, snatched away by RPG, and despite the fact that Tassador had been banned by RPG. So that's how comfortable they feel picking Vala in general anyway, because Guan Zhao is just a Vala god. It's a living Vala killing machine. And there's still plenty of options to go for a double support with. They could still go for the likes of, let's say, Azaria. They could go for the likes of Karazim, being a little bit more aggressive then. So I do not mind this approach by SPT.
Me neither. And I am running out of pages to go to spot a Kerrigan, so unless I've missed it, I'm about to go out of week 1 and go into last season. It's looking like it's been a while since we've seen a Kerrigan. Here comes the same picks as last time. This time though they have an Ariel. This time they have again really solid hope generation.
And this time they can basically assume that Uther could become the solo support. However, this time around I feel that RPG could actually ban the Malfurion away again and get much more value of it, because Oriel won't be automatically in the enemy team. So now they really have to worry about a strong sustained support like Malfurion, maybe the Brightwing, maybe one of the two could be a worthy ban target. What do you think?
I like the idea of the Brightwing ban, just due to the amount of CC you can get from.
Right.
So I'm down with that. Question is if that's what they go for. Yeah, I'm past Eastern Clash now. It's been a while, so I'm not going to go any further. We're just going to end that sentence off. It's been a while since we've seen a Kerrigan.
Kerrigan, yep. She keeps getting new skins, though, with the upcoming update. She gets 2 new cheerleader skins, if I'm not mistaken.
Murky.
So does Murky.
Playable.
And here I sit, lonely in my room, looking at my variant portrait behind me and just cry.
More skins, please.
All I want is a future variant, like a Superman variant, similar to the Super Sonya. I want a super variant. Can you imagine how cool that would be?
It does sound very cool. Like what? Like he does already have the cape.
Yes, that's true. And he is kind of. Actually, the more I think of it, in Carbot's latest video about the variant pairing, he's actually kind of displayed as Superman, right? He has the blue suit.
A little bit, yeah.
It kind of looks like it, yeah.
Alright, Malthael is what is banned out. We're seeing all of those really top... I hesitate to use the word melee assassin with Malthael, due to he's very much more of a mage just in terms of his damage output.
Right.
Or not really a mage, he's a weird one. He's very much his own person there. But either way, he is melee and he is classed as an assassin. So we're going to stick with melee assassin for now. And Sonya, that bruiser, being banned out. So we have the 2 top ones these days being removed. Illidan's still up there and still potentially viable. But with Tassadar removed, would SBT be willing to take that risk?
So here's what I actually wouldn't hate. I would love to see a Gul'dan on the side of SBT. Because it gives you so much wave clear, so much shrine control, so much wave clear. And there's not a whole lot of wave clear available for RPG right now, and we have seen a lot of Gul'dan actually in Europe over the last few days and weeks in both Open Division and HGC Pro Division. But of course, China doesn't really play the mages right now in the current meta. In fact, the only mage that pops up every now and then is Li Ming.
Very true.
We see
Tyrael, Diablo tank.
Yeah.
Tyrael and Dibble. Do love a bit of Dibbles.
Don't hate it. Tyrael actually provides a little bit of protection against Lunara as well with the Righteousness and the Sanctification, of course. Stops a little bit of the poison from happening. Diablo actually doesn't care about Lunara at all after reaching 100 stacks in the Soul Shield. He doesn't care about no magic damage.
Wow, that's a low pick rate on this map. Even though he is a very popular hero on this map, but only 3 picks. But then again, he's only really resurged. That was right the first time. In the last couple months, couple weeks, I would say. And
predominantly in NA, I would say. There's a couple of teams, Roll20 in particular, that... Whoa, RPG!
Have we seen the Medivh? I must check.
Not on
now.
RPG. I cannot recall. I don't even know who's going to play it. It must be Infinity or Loktar.
Medivh. They have Medivhed. Question is who played it. Let's find out. I would assume Infinity.
Yeah.
This would be my assumption. But they did at least get a chicken hero. I was concerned if Dahaka was stolen. But they wanted the stronger double
they
tank.
haven't played it at all, according to the statistics shown right now. Maybe it's just the current season.
Maybe? Yeah, Medivh, 2 games by Infinity, 100% win rate.
How long was that ago?
I can't tell you. I can hang on. Let's just go for tournaments.
Okay.
Let's go for...
Because maybe it was back in the days when they still played in the Silver League, the amateur division in China.
Okay, well let's go phase 2. Let's get all the phases and see if it's in there.
Well, either way...
Yeah, it's in the most recent 3 phases.
Okay. So they did go for the Brightwing after all. I'm glad they actually considered going for the same support as we suggested. So now they have a strong sustained healer that doesn't require a lot of mana in terms of healing against Lunara. That's kind of nice. Also, a little bit of disengage, a little bit of support. And if there's one player in the league, in HGC China, that knows how to play against Medivh, it must be Melody C.
Absolutely, and I've just checked. Once in Phase 2 Part 1, once in Phase 2 Part 2, which leads me to believe that those... Oh dear, I've got the British stuck on. It leads me to believe that those statistics are map statistics.
Maybe.
For how often they're played on that map.
Gotcha. Makes a lot of sense. Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting a little bit hyped here, because we do not see your standard average daily team composition coming out from RPG. They seem to improve, they seem to adapt and evolve, and that's exactly what they need to do if they want to take a map of SBT, because standard, probably won't work against those guys, so you might as well try to surprise them.
To quote Vegeta, you're not dealing with the average support anymore. So let's see if they can make it work. It's gonna be rough, but this is probably their best chance. The Medivh is one of those heroes who could absolutely take wins out of nowhere against teams who would be considered better.
Absolutely. Is the Last Guardian going to be enough, though, to secure at least 1 point that RPG so desperately needs against SPT? Well, we're gonna find out in a bit on Infernal Shrines.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let us do this with spawning on the left-hand side, looking to try and take out a win here. It is RPG, Chicken on the Dahaka, Wang on ETC, Sar on Ariel, Infinity on the Medivh, and Loktar on Lunara.
Very impressive Tetra and SPT here on the right-hand side. In the rest, Kunjao on Vala, Melody C on Brightwing, Misaka on Diablo. Then we have Turiel being played by Soap, and last but not least, ZZH on the Uther. Man, we're nailing our overlays today. We don't need no overlays at this point.
Yeah, they're disappearing really quickly, but we got it. We got it.
We got it.
But for now, like we said, SPT 1-0 up. Teleport for Brightwing, getting that global
Chicken,
potential.
what are you doing?
That's
the wrong one. It's the wrong one.
Oh, no, they did that last game as well. They came with SPT price. I'm not sure if it's for the sake of BM or just for respect. I choose to believe respect, because they deserve it.
Yeah, definitely. If there is one team that could maybe lead China to glory, it is SPT, despite the lack of success they've had in international tournaments. And that was mostly due to the fact that they have yet to play in their fully pimped up roster. So maybe at BlizzCon, it is time for us to witness the true unleashed SPT. Oh, finally an RPG spray. Nice.
Yep. we will have to see. Yeah, or maybe SPT. There's a very good chance at this point that SPT will be one of the teams going to BlizzCon.
Yeah,
with their newest support player, that guy from the visa office, due to their consistent issues they've had in the past. But we can only hope that we will get a full strength one. In the meantime, though, they just need to keep getting points, and RPG could be their next 2-0 and getting those lovely 3 points. But RPG not letting them go down without a fight.
Taking a look at Turiel here, by the way, that is one of Soap's absolute favorite heroes. He feels very comfortable playing Turiel. In fact, last season when he used to play for E-Star, it was by far Melody C here, you goofball. But it was one of his most picked heroes and one of his highest win rate heroes by far. The holy grounds that Soap can just magically appear out of nowhere is just super impressive.
Which Soap is found there in the rotations of RPG. Portal is blocked just in case this starts to go south. ETC does take it. No one else does. They just have a little bit of a dance through the portal, clearing the lanes. No rush for either of these teams so far. If they catch someone, sure. But right now, both teams racing towards level 4. But RPG, using the fact that they could see SPT disappearing, most likely going back to their fountain, to get a slight head start onto this objective, while also still soaking for level 4. But Diablo is allowing SPT to get it first by soaking that mid lane.
Exactly. So far, things are looking good for RPG. They have managed to establish themselves nicely, but Diablo from downtown with a big shadow charge against the wall. But Medivh and Ariel, with combined efforts, they managed to keep Loktar safe and sound. It's pretty solid, but Loktar doesn't really do a good job spreading the poison because he's been pressured so much. And look at Sa, barely any energy.
No chill coming in from Diablo this game. Misaka, he sees Loktar, he dives Loktar, but here's Dahaka trying to get the drag. Misaka takes huge damage. Is there a poison reset to finish him? No, there isn't. Misaka survives the fight. ZZH also survives the fight, but it's given control over the RPG, who were able to take out Turiel.
That was a big kill as well. Turiel is such an important character to have in your team composition when it comes to poking, when it comes to holding the front line, following up on Diablo engage. And as I said, Diablo was a little bit too predictable in the playstyle here. It was really easy for Medivh, for Infinity, to always know which target to use the shield on, because Diablo did go for no one else other than Loktar and Lunara. So it kind of backfired a little bit for SPT, and that first Arcane Punisher is going to deal terrible, terrible things to the enemy base.
Yes, it will. And Vision very important for RPG this
True.
game, it seems, due to the fact that they've gone for the time-lost Wisp. Probably the least picked Wisp, I would argue. Usually it's Nimble, sometimes dividing on the very odd occasion if they need detection Skybound. But in this case, time-lost, which means that Wisps cost no mana, which is always nice. And it recharges 125% faster while there is no Wisp active. So basically, it means you have Wisp up very consistently, meaning that you're able to just spam it out. Misaka not getting the wall hit there, getting denied by Wang with the body blocks, just short of hitting that wall, and that's what really punished him.
Yeah, but I'm not even sure if he could have killed anyone even if he had hit the wall, because there was a Medivh, right? So, Chicken in the meantime playing with a fairy dragon known as Melody C, but Melody C, he's not afraid to look for that straight up confrontation, but he's not Zuyu, and as such, he cannot win that lane matchup against Tahaka.
And so, we are seeing the energized Chord coming in for Ariel, continuing with that very high level of very high energy generation. Ariel has gone for the increased speed of the swipe as well, and the increased radius, so she's very much gone for the most self-sufficient energy comp that she could possibly go for, and she still has Lunara with her. She's going to have a good time. That extra range on the charge, putting Sar in danger, gets the heal, but Valor with the punishment. That's the execution they've been looking for.
Yeah, and that's really what they need to do, especially when they realize, Medivh's not here to really protect that target that we're about to charge on with Diablo. So they really capitalized on the fact that RPG wasn't fully there. In the meantime, though, Chicken gets a tower, gets 2 minion waves, and SBT, despite getting a kill, not really managing to pull ahead too far in terms of overall XP. Infinity scouting over the wall. Look at Diablo's build here, by the way. At level 7, he did not go for the Soul Shield, despite Medivh and Lunara only having ability damage. For the most part, he went for the Soul Feast, which gives him more health regen to maybe counter the poison damage.
Nice. I like that. That's really cool, actually. Like, there's not a huge amount of burst damage you're going to protect from. Like you said, like maybe Medivh. But overall, health regen, if you got shields on top of you from Tyrael and stuff like that. Brightwing did not go for the face shield, did go for Cleanse. Full teleport build with Cleanse, still quite nice. Yeah, I really am quite a fan of this thing. He's gonna get hit by that poison due to that Splinter Spear.
Very true. Now Brightwing using the phase shift, coming in. Misaka holding the front line, Shadow charging against the wall, Medivh in trouble, but using the shield to keep himself safe and sound for now.
Chicken from behind gets a drag onto Brightwing, who gets a little bit of healing from the Uther there. Everyone nice and healthy, but once again, RPG in control. Potentially looking for their second Punisher. Ooh. Here comes the denied by the face melt. Beautifully done. Once again, Wang, what a nice guy. Getting his team out of danger, but Chicken looks for a punishment here. Instead, goes through the portal. They have ZZH under their control. Another kill going over to RPG. 3 kills to 1. Level 10 about to be hit, and a Punisher about to be achieved. This could be a fort, Kendra.
This is the RPG that I really wanted to see here. They come out strong. They come out swinging here in this early game. They get 10 way earlier than their opponents. They have another Punisher at their disposal. And it's now time for them to really get that forward. With the Mosh Pit, with the Ley Line Seal, perfect setup. They can really utilize all of their beautiful heroic abilities. They can use the Gate to go over the wall here. No chills for RPG. And this might be a Tetra 10 around the corner for SPT.
Punisher down to half health. RPG moving in. That's going to be a fort and potentially a kill. Punisher, the bro, coming in, doing huge damage to Misaka. But with both Brightwing and Uther here, that will be enough to keep Misaka alive as he barely dodges the root. With the amount of minions here, that
Misaka going back
will not go down. Yep, there we go.
Okay.
It was enough. Ranged minions, you got this, bros. And that is going to be the first fort of the game, going over to RPG.
It's so cool to see that Misaka, despite being at 20% health, went back in because he realized, hey, I've got Devil's Stew. Hey, there's a Regen Globe. I got this. Combine that with the increased health regen that he got from Soul Feast, and Diablo can become a pretty tanky combatant here. Now, speaking of Infinity, he was way too out of position. Wait, why is RPG doing this Mercam now? They need to go back.
Because bad decisions are the spice of life. As
we Rip Stacks too.
Pulling back. They lost stacks. They were able to stay alive. Everyone else able to stay alive, though. They weren't able to take the camp. That was very much a series of bad scenarios happening for RPG, but they're not in the worst position. They're still ahead.
No. Absolutely.
They're 30 first as long as they keep soaking. Difference is, both teams have their heroics now. We can see Emerald Wind, Apocalypse, Sanctification, Rain of Vengeance, and Divine Shield.
And now things are going to look much more differently in those future team fights. With the double invul provided by the Sanctification and the Divine Shield, SPT can hold their ground much better. Especially Diablo and Turtle would have a much easier time, you know, soaking up the damage and holding the front line. However, we cannot underestimate the mosh pits. And especially if Diablo gets caught inside, there's not a whole lot they can do to really interrupt it unless Brightwing is in good position.
The gank is set up. Infinity, though, back in bird form.
Yep.
Not having any of it,
you.
but Misaka still denied. Yeah, the gank is denied. And that Infinity, that vision that we're seeing so consistently out of RPG, Wisp combined with bird that sprays from the sky and all, they are just keeping their eyes on SPT, and this is allowing them to take control of potentially another shrine, potentially the third Punisher of the game here, which will 100% guarantee this bottom 4 if they're able to get it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The bottom 4, as you mentioned, is already has already been damaged quite heavily. It's sitting at 40% health, and as such, you know, this Mortar Punisher would be a very nice asset to have. Now, level 13 here, very important for Brightwing. Look at the two globals, basically soaking against each other. But now, the preemptive phase shift, not 13 yet. Melody C realizes they need to make something happen right now.
Chicken gets Force of Will, staying alive.
Nice.
Is out the way of the multi-shot, and they get Diablo out of position. Not able to finish him off, though. That tankiness from that double healer, allowing him to get through. Wang has completed Prog Rock. This is going to be good, adding even more sustain to this composition as they move back in and retake control. SPT, they can't gain ground. The second they do, it gets taken away from them again, just due to the insane sustain.
Yeah, and Chicken is absolutely harassing and bullying his opponents here, but now we see a major mosh pit countered by the Leyline Seal.
The Leyline Seal was good. Here's the mosh pit, though. Beautifully done. The Apocalypse only delayed the mosh pit. It got the 10-second cooldown of the Leyline. Bought them time for it to come off cooldown. We're seeing Zhen Zhao barely able to escape. Soap will not be able to. Punisher's taken. Zhen Zhao's not got enough health to defend this. It's just Diablo. And this will be that bottom 4 going down.
When the Wang offers you a dance, you do not refuse. Because that was a beautiful mosh pit, hitting 4 members at the same time, patiently waiting until the apocalypse was over, patiently waiting until Brightwing was close enough so that the Polymorph nor the Emerald Wind could interrupt the dance party. So that was beautifully done, an RPG in full momentum swing, trying to take even more than the bottom fort.
They're looking for the keep, but the Punisher's already down to half health, so they'll get the front wall, but they will not be able to go any further than that without picking up a very cheeky kill, which would only be resulting from a big mistake by SPT, like potentially Diablo going too deep, who knows, but he is trying to. Good stun onto Sar, portal's down, but here's Diablo, put him into the portal. He's trying to make it! He's trying everything he can to get to freedom! The heal was not off cooldown, and Sar gets taken down. Didn't even use Aegis, though. Very patient.
Exactly. Very patient, not, you know, panicking and using the Aegis, although I think it would have been fine to use it. He could have bought a couple more seconds for his teammates to get out. In the meantime, Chicken was abandoning the fray, and he was like, yeah, I'm gonna go back to what I do best, and that is just split pushing and split soaking. Can I mention... Oh, never mind. There's another replay here. Did you go ahead?
Yeah, you can see he gets Aegis. Time is available. Yeah. Mosh is down. Huge. Beautifully done. Leyline bought time while he was in the Aegis. Just perfectly timed by RPG, whether it was intentional or not. They destroyed that fight and were able to take full control. However, SPT making the most of that dead Ariel and are going to take a fort of their own using that Impaler Cap.
Yeah, 18 stacks on the Master's Touch here for Medivh, so Infinity is going to be there very, very soon. Only needs a couple more. I do want to highlight Chicken's Dehaka, though, in this game. Not only is he always there when it comes to soaking and pushing in the top lane and other lanes where it's needed, he continuously keeps on bullying individual members on the side of SPT. Quinn Zhao couldn't do anything in that team fight. He couldn't drop the Rain of Vengeance because he was chased by Dehaka, who had dropped him so low that he was basically at the brink of death. So also those engages from Misaka constantly get interrupted by the sticky licky tongue coming in from Chicken. So I really got to give big kudos after criticizing him in game 1, you know, stressing the fact that he missed a couple of tongues and drags. So already in game 2 he's doing a much more fantastic job.
Completely agreed. Chicken much better this time. Infinity being consistently solid. Locktar's doing his damage. Sar's doing his job. Everyone is doing their job this time on RPG.
Absolutely. 16 is now here, though. The Holy Ground can be a big zoning tool. You can lock people in, like Soap is trying to do it right now. You can isolate people. ETC now in trouble.
Gets a Force of Will, though. Reabsorption was taken by Medivh, adding that extra little bit of healing and protection from those big bursts, which is what Diablo's going for, especially with that percentage damage that he took on level 13 and 16 with the reset.
Keep in mind, RPG does not need to win this Shrine battle. They get so much value in the bottom, and even if SBT takes the Punisher, there's still a fort that they need to overcome first here. So all they try to do right now is buy a little bit of time, stall a little bit of seconds and minutes here until Chicken deals even more damage onto the bottom keep. And if SBT doesn't react to this, I think they might lose it.
Chicken's not going to be able to finish this. He's out of it. Oh, he might finish this, actually.
I think
good damage out, but he's running out of minions. He might get him. He might put himself in danger for staying last hit. Doesn't even take a shot. Gets out just in time. ETC gets flipped over. Portals out. He's gone. In comes Soap to try and punish. They know they're 5-4. Chicken's going for the core. As we do see the rest of RPG pulling back. We know that Chicken can't end the game here, but he can at least put pressure on and pretend like he can. And that might force bees, but it looks like it's not going to. Okay. He realizes, yeah, I can't really do this alone. It's, there we go. It's the game of ports. But everyone from RPG is now back at base. It's now 5v5. They have a level lead. Talents are exactly equal. So this is going to be rough.
And the Punisher is still sitting at 50% health. The shield is big. Wang is safe for now. Diablo deep in the enemy team's backline.
Got dragged in by Chicken after trying to get Wang, who once again got Force of Willed. Moshpit is still a very real possibility, especially with the Punisher about to die, and Wang moves forward to look for a play.
Yeah, he looks for a play, but he doesn't seem to find it because SBT realize, yup, we're kind of running out of steam here, guys. We got as much as we could. We got the tower line, but we didn't manage to get the keep. So let's just chill and counter push the bottom lane. There's also a mercenary camp pushing in the middle. So they just need to stabilize right now, catch up a little bit of XP. I like what Soap is doing here, throwing down the Eldruin's Might, just to make sure that there are no chase shenanigans going on with the ETC and the Medivh respectively.
Medivh does fly directly over the sword, so he was seen, but also was able to see the camp being taken. It's too late, it's already gone. Would have got the exact same knowledge either way, except knowing exactly who is there at the camp. So either way, once again, Vision working very heavily in RPG's favor.
Absolutely. Keep in mind that after acquiring 16, the domination is now there for Diablo, and combine that with a devastating charge talent at level 13. If he's fully stacked, he can chunk down big portions of health here from the tanky targets, especially like Dehaka, like ETC. So if you end up fighting at one of those choke points near the shrine, for example, we have seen Diablos one-shotting squishy targets in the backline single-handedly. So you can never count...
He has...
Yep. Go ahead.
He has been attempting to.
Yeah.
But there is a single bird that has been preventing that, and that's Medivh.
True.
He has been doing a spectacular job with his Force of Wills to prevent that burst damage from Diablo. And so far, that's what's been keeping RPG ahead as they creep towards level 20. We can see the attempts from SBT to put some pressure and not hitting into the wall there. The Force of Will, the gap is found between the Force of Will and the gate as huge damage is dropped. Aegis having to be used, but guess what? That's a setup for a Mosh if they want it. They don't. Not taking the risk. Just playing back. Why risk it when you have 20 on the way?
Exactly. The Leyland Seal and the Crystal Aegis unfortunately overlapping a little bit here, so Wang just received the double protection. Now they have two relatively long cooldowns, but the most important one, as Tetra mentioned, the Mosh Pit is still available. However, look at SBT's lineup. No heroic abilities used whatsoever, but level 20 is around the corner. The Mercenaries plus the Catapults in the bottom lane could prove to be a little bit of a problem, but luckily for SBT, the Shrine is located in the bottom lane, so they don't have to cover that large of a distance in order to contest it.
They do need to contest it, though, and that's the problem. It's an open lane with level 20.
And it's an Arcane Punisher, too.
This is Arcane Punisher, highest damage, lane with no keep, 20 advantage for the enemy team. This is the worst possible scenario, as we do see RPG fighting very, very aggressively. Targ onto Tyrael. He's dropping low. Sanification keeping him alive. Apocalypse already onto Ariel, who's completely isolated. Shield of Hope keeps her alive. Moshpit and Aegis. Ariel still surviving. She heals herself and is able to survive as Diablo's taken down. He's on the
Tetra, that could be game.
Down. Tyrael is going down. Down goes Brightwing. Uther's dead too. No redemption. That is everyone dead except for Diablo, who revived. That is going to be GG. Who even needs the Punisher? They can just go straight for the core. RPG, make it a 1-1.
RPG, they did it again! Nobody believed in them! Except Daddy Kendrick. No, nobody believed in them. I just did it for the gimmicks, to be honest. I did not expect them to win this game. They did such a good job in those team fights. Just Medivh cheats for the giggles. And I can't believe the coordination there. Saw on the Oriole making sure to stay alive. So much team fight control. Beautifully done. Wang once again with a golden dance party. And in the second game here, finally they managed to carry their victory. And look at Wang, he's happy. It was a long fought battle, but they get 1 point from one of the strongest teams in the league. That's exactly what they needed.
Wow. What a good game by RPG. The comeback tour of the RPG band begins, frontlined by the best mosh pitter, the Wang.
Wow.
That was clutch play by everyone in that game. RPG dominating from start to finish, minimal mistakes, only once really punished the entire time. Very well done. And with that, Big Fat Eli in the chat, I'm pretty sure he's right, meaning that CE, SPT, and SOA are now all tied for first place.